Hello, fellow people with type 1 diabetes. The question today is, does coffee raise our blood sugar? That's what I'm going to answer in today's video. My name is Dr. Jody Stanislaw, and I help patients who are struggling with type 1 diabetes to have less highs and less lows so you can have the confidence to enjoy a healthy and happy life again. I've had type 1 for 40 years, this next month actually, 40 years. And I have dedicated my practice to helping patients with type 1 all over the world. I work virtually with patients all over the world. And I love answering tough questions like these. Does coffee raise our blood sugar? So it's a good question, right? Are there any carbs in coffee? No, there's not any carbs. So if carb counting is supposed to answer everything for us, then we wouldn't need insulin for coffee, right? Well, as people that work with me know, maybe you have worked with me, maybe you're just learning about me today. Diabetes is not, there's no set answer. Diabetes is not a straight line, right? Carb counting doesn't always work. There's a lot more to knowing how to dose properly for what we eat and drink than just carb counting. That's what I love to teach patients. That's why I made a course, Nutrition, How to Dose. It's much more complicated. So if you're feeling frustrated because you're having all these highs and lows that don't make sense, I empathize with you because I've spent 40 years trying to figure out highs and lows. But I've realized that all these ratios and formulas that they give us, we have to actually be a little bit more flexible with them. You know, like the pump wizard tells you exactly how much to dose. Well, it's not always right? The pump tells you exactly how much insulin you have left on board. Not always right. So there's a lot more flexibility to diabetes management than likely you've been taught. And I get why we are given all these straightforward formulas because they're trying to make it easy for us. But what happens is when we're giving, like, this is your insulin carb ratio, this is how long your insulin stays on board, and then it doesn't work, we end up feeling frustrated. And that's why diabetes burnout is such a thing. So if you're struggling and frustrated with living with type 1, there's millions of us that can relate to you. And that's why I love coming live to you guys every Monday through Friday, because I love giving little tips. I've been doing this since we started with this whole COVID thing, end of March. But I have all these courses on, and free stuff on my website. So check out my website. It's right up there, drjodynd.com. But so here's the thing about coffee. Coffee has caffeine, and caffeine creates an adrenaline rush. And an adrenaline rush can raise our blood sugar. So coffee affects people differently, though. And it also can affect you differently from day to day. So sometimes coffee might raise you, and sometimes it won't. So it's a bit of a confusing answer, right? But that's diabetes, right? There's no set rule for every day. But you've got to realize that sometimes when you're drinking coffee, you can get an adrenaline rush, what can raise your blood sugar. So what I recommend is that you track it. If you're a consistent coffee drinker, just see if you can drink it on an empty stomach with no insulin on board, with no food digesting, and do you go up? And do it a couple times in a row because, we all know that one days of data can be a fluke. But if you can follow the trend, but you'll just have to basically just be aware that this is possible, because a lot of times with diabetes, when I work with patients, I explain to people that we need to just better understand the factors that can make us go high and low, so we're not left feeling frustrated all the time about why are we high now. So coffee, like I said, causes adrenaline, and adrenaline can also be secreted when we're nervous, when we're excited, when we're scared, when we're about to give a talk, when we're working on, something that's stressing us out, right? There's a lot of things in life that can actually raise our blood sugar level because they cause this adrenaline rush. And it might be a positive adrenaline, like I'm so excited to give this talk, or it can be a negative adrenaline, like, oh my gosh, there's a cop with his lights on behind me. What did I do wrong? Right? So all of these things in our life are very unpredictable, unfortunately. And even coffee. Sometimes I see coffee give me a rise, and sometimes I don't. So I decided to drink some right now. And I'm just going to see what happens. Let's see where I'm at. Let's see. Dex says I'm doing darn good today, kids. There's a nice flat line, 102. So we'll see. I haven't really eaten much. Will my blood sugar go up? So this is what I love to help you guys with, is understand that we really have to think beyond just the formulas. We have to be educated on all the variables that can raise us and can lower us. And then we kind of are living our life in a petri dish. We're living our life in an experiment. But when you're empowered with understanding at a deeper level that, for example, carb counting alone isn't sufficient, or that just eating 15 grams of carb every time you're low isn't always going to work, right? There's a lot of things we have to think about beyond just the formulas that we're given. And when you learn these kind of extra variables to consider, you'll feel more joyful, you'll have more time in range, your blood sugar levels, you'll have less highs and less lows. The problem I see it is most of us haven't been really given the full set of education that we need to thrive with type 1. That's why so many people have A1Cs above 7 and 8, etc. A good A1C, according to the American Association of Clinical Endocrinologists, is a 6.5 or below. And I think it's less than 10 or 20% of us have a A1C below 6.5. But that's why I'm out here. That's why I get to help all of you guys. That's why I have all these courses on my website. And I have lots of free resources on my website too. So my website is drjodynd.com. I've got it right there. And I've got a little free handout for you. I've got free videos for you. I've got my courses, how to master your blood sugar with exercise, how to, nutrition, how to dose, and how to stay positive, right? This whole COVID thing is kind of making everybody go batty, right? So add a little type 1 and COVID and we go even more batty. So check out my website for some positive resources. I do group calls with my patients. I have online courses. I'm here to help people with type 1 and I live it. I walk in your shoes every day. I get how frustrating it can be. But I also know that when you reach out and you get support and you get education, it can be so much easier. You can live healthier, you can live happier, you can have less lows, you can have less highs, right? I'm sure you've heard the phrase of like, life is 10% what happens to us and 90% our attitude, right? So with type 1, we really need to find our people. We need to find our support that helps us stay positive. Because when you stay positive, you can live a long and healthy life. I've had type 1 now for 40 years. So I get it. I've had the lows, I've had the highs. But today's video, your takeaway point is carb counting does not always work, right? Because coffee can raise you. And stress can raise you, and getting excited can raise you, right? So understanding these variables will make your life better. So if you want to go deeper into understanding these variables, please check out my website. You'll see some great classes there. So I'm coming live to you on my Facebook page here Monday through Friday. Well, yesterday was a holiday, so I wasn't on yesterday. But 3 o'clock Pacific, 6 o'clock Eastern. I've switched the videos now to my business page, but I have 2 months worth of videos on my profile page if you want to take a look at some of those. If you have any questions for me, post them in the thread below. Leave your comments. What do you like? What other topics do you want me to cover? I'm here for you. If you have type 1 and you're struggling, I'm here for you. I want to help you. So have a great day. Check out my website. It's right there. Great free resources, and I'll see you right here tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye for now.